as of April, early May 2015, it looks like the Wii U is done. And this is really shitty because it is a decent piece of hardware. It's got some good games on it, but Nintendo fucked it up. There's no denying it. Nintendo fucked it up bad. They botched it hard. It's just really sad what happened. And at this point, Zelda's not going to save it. They're going to need a huge third-party turnout quickly if the system's going to be saved. And I don't think Nintendo's going to try. They've pretty much just pulled an Adam Osborne. They had what's out now, and then they bragged about the next hardware, the NX. So that's, if anyone who's paying attention was like, hey, why should I buy a Wii U? They're already working on the next one. So, that's pretty much killed most, if not all, future sales of the Wii U. Possibly software as well. I don't know what to say about it. Are they trying to sweep it under the rug? I mean, it just felt like from the beginning, I was blind to it, really, that they didn't want to have this system out. They didn't, I mean, the first Zelda game on it was just an HD update to Wind Waker. The first Mario game was just New Super Mario Brothers, but in HD. It's just, everything's just, the games have been good, but it just didn't feel like they're giving it their all. And it just, there's a lot of things with it that really also pulled it out from under the rug. Pulled the rug out from underneath the system. It's gonna look at the gamepad. The gamepad, I like the gamepad. It's pretty neat. It basically makes it into a DS console, which something they didn't capitalize on. They could have released a 3DS adapter, work over USB. They probably didn't do that because, well, piracy issues, but it would have, I think if they had like a DS add-on, they could have sold the system a little bit better because, people recording footage and stuff like that. But, Nintendo doesn't want people to do that, so well, fuck it. But it basically makes it into a DS system, and they could have capitalized on it a lot more. I mean, Zombie U actually kind of did that. And that worked really well. I liked that game. It was actually a pretty decent little launch title. But the cost of it really pulled the rug out from underneath the system. It was like Earthbound, with the strategy guide being packed in. It pulled the rug out from that release, and the gamepad pulled the rug out from this. I've made comments that what Nintendo should do to save the system is drop the gamepad entirely and package the system with the Pro Controller, because the Pro Controller is actually pretty damn decent. It kind of feels like a 360 controller, but not really. I have a plan that Nintendo could use to save the system, one of which is to drop the gamepad entirely, which I thought they were doing for a good while, because every single system update they were doing made you use the gamepad less and less. It got to the point where I was actually controlling the entire system with the Pro Controller, which I thought they were gonna drop the gamepad if Smash Brothers didn't save the system, and Smash Brothers didn't save the system. Zelda's not gonna save it. I got a feeling they're just pushing it back, and just gonna keep on pushing it back until the NX is ready to release. And hey, we got dual release. You can get it on the Wii U, or you can get it with the NX, or get the NX version. But the NX version will be considered better. Maybe the NX system will be a 4K system. They'll be like, hey, fuck you, Sony. Or fuck you, Microsoft. We got 4K over here. It'd be kind of neat. But, you never know. That, who would have thought in 2006 that the price of HD TVs would be going down? I mean, 2006 HD TVs were well over $1,000 range at that point. So people thought it was kind of done for Xbox 360 and PS3 to be HD capable. They're like, hey, what? I can't afford this. Well, even the original Xbox was HD capable, but still. Then a couple of years later, prices of HD TVs dropped substantially. Most people got one, and the Wii was left in the dust with its 480p only. So, Nintendo really should pull ahead on that one. I'm getting off track, but another thing that really pulled the system out from under, pulled the rug out from underneath the system was really the architecture. The system is running a Power PC, hardware CPU, similar to what the 360 and the PS3 use. I think the PS3 and the 360 use the equivalent. Well, I know the 360 uses the equivalent of a G5 processor, like cluster, like 3 G5s. I think the PS3 uses the same, but the series that the Wii U uses is a G3, which a little bit slower than the G5s, but the G5s had a lot of heat problems, which is why Apple moved away from PowerPC to Intel. I mean, have you ever seen the heat sinks for a Power Mac G5? They're fucking huge. And they had those running in a 360, those G5s. That's why the systems were failing. That's why they're cooking themselves. They didn't have adequate heat dispersal, but that's neither here nor there. So, the hardware's a problem. It's why 360 ports on the Wii U are kind of, like Batman Arkham City was really iffy at launch. It chugged a bit. I remember that. But the first party games were good. I mean, the first party games were awesome. I mean, I said they didn't give the system their all. I mean, the first Zelda game was a rehash, and the first Mario game was a rehash. So they weren't pushing the good system. They weren't pushing the next generation stuff yet. They waited till the new systems or the competition was out to get the next gen stuff out. They still haven't done that with Zelda. Zelda's gonna get pushed back and pushed back and pushed back until the NX is ready to release, which will be probably the only 9th gen system. But whatever, neither here nor there. It's really sad to see this, but I'm kind of glad it's going out the way it is. I mean, it's the people who own a Wii U, everyone I've talked to that has one, they like it. It's got, they like the games they have on it. They wish there was a little bit more, selection, but what's on there is generally quality stuff. Compared to, say, the PS3, the 360, well, there's quality stuff on there, but, at least with Nintendo, you're not going to get a whole bunch of games that are, like, you have to wait for them to update. But it would have been... People just, developers just abandoned, apparently, Nintendo because of that. I mean, seems like developers just wanted to have, like, release clunky games and patch them later if people bitched about them. And Nintendo said, probably didn't want that and they're like, well, fuck you then. That's probably what happened. Probably why there's not a whole lot of third-party development on the Wii U. Which, all things considered, I don't like it when they do that. I think it's lazy as fuck to just release a beta game and finish it later if people find the glitches. It's just lazy and it's reprehensible, really. It's I pay $60. Games are $60 these days. When I lay down that much money on a brand new game, I expect it to work 100% all the way through. I can imagine if they did a bug fix to fix a small bug that was, maybe people were using to exploit the game a bit. Not to fix freaking faces not appearing. So, but Nintendo wanted quality control. That's probably one of the reasons why third-party developers said, fuck you. I mean, apparently the Wii U version of Watch Dogs was butchered. Well, the original version was butchered pretty well too. I mean, I played it a couple hours on the PC. It's kind of. There we go. There's my review of Watch Dogs. But I saw the concept. I thought it was gonna look pretty good. But the Wii U. I think Nintendo should try to save it. I mean, you're gonna they're pissing off fans left and right because, I mean, the NX, well, they're probably not gonna be able to save it because they pulled in Adam Osborne. But they should at least try to push it. At least push it as a budget system compared to the PS3, the PS4, and the Xbox One. Give developers better access to the hardware. Drop the gamepad, and maybe even have like fans develop like PlayStation did with the Net Yazure. Have fans develop like that, and I think, if anything, it'd be like the PCFX kind of system. But it's gonna be really niche, and it's got quality hardware games that's on it, but not a whole lot of games. The fans, they like the system. It's not selling well. I got a feeling, historically, the Wii U is gonna go down in history in the same light as the Dreamcast. Good games, not many of them, but it's going to be fondly remembered by people who had the system. And really, it's a lot better than the 3DO got. It's a lot better than a CDI got. So, if it's going to flop, I'm glad it flopped like that. I just wish Zelda would come out. Maybe, but it's not going to save the system. I would want Nintendo to push it back a little bit. That way it has a chance to sell. That way they can make their money on it. But, the Wii U, it was the only system of this generation that I bought a game. I bought it simply because there was a couple of games on there I wanted to play. There was Pikmin 3. Now, I prefer the Wii versions of Pikmin 1 and 2. I didn't get into it on the GameCube. I got into it on the Wii. So when I played Pikmin 3, I played with the Wii controller and all that, and I had a grand time playing Pikmin 3. Smash Brothers didn't save the system, but that's still pretty fun. Super Mario 3D World's fun as hell. But the only reason why I have a PS4 is because I was derping around on eBay and found one was like, yeah, it doesn't turn on. All I had to do is add the blue light of death or whatever it was, whether it's called. I took a chance, swapped out the hard drive, reinstalled the firmware, and there we go. I got a working PlayStation 4 for cheap. It's the only reason why I have that. It's good, but there's some good games on it. I mean, on the PS4, I've got Alien Isolation. That's an awesome game. I love that kind of survival horror game. And I got Evil Within, Metal Gear Solid 5, of course. Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes. I'm gonna be getting Phantom Pain as soon as I can. Now I'm rambling on about the PS4. Anyway, the Wii U. It's gone. It's done. It's pretty much done. There's not a whole lot they can do to save it. If it were to start selling now, it would be a miracle. Just a complete miracle. I mean, the PS3 was dead in the water, but the Wii U is in the same position, but I don't think Nintendo's gonna try to save it. I mean, they've already advertised their new system, the NX. So I don't know why they did that. It's just, they shot themselves in the foot. That's all it was. That's all they did. They shot themselves in the foot. Told people, hey, don't bother with the Wii U. We're something new's coming out. So I'm not a business. I don't own a business, but that's a pretty stupid move for them to do. And it really speaks to the management of Nintendo. The current management really needs to be shuffled around. They need new people to run the company, because it's just not working out. I mean, the Wii, okay, it sold well at first, then once everyone who wanted a Wii had a Wii, sales really tapered off. And I have a regular Wii. I got it to play Zelda. Seems like the only reason why I buy a Nintendo system these days is to play Zelda. But the Wii has some pretty good stuff on it, but it's one of those systems where everything was dumped onto it just because it was the popular system. I mean, you got some quality stuff like Lost in Shadow. That's actually a pretty fun game. Really unique kind of platformer. Boy and His Blob came out. That was kind of weird. I mean, I hadn't even heard of a Boy and His Blob prior to the Wii version, but it's kind of cool how an old franchise is resurrected that way. But other than that, there's not a whole lot going for the original Wii, and there's not a whole lot going for the Wii U at the moment, aside from the first-party games and Zombie U. Ubisoft. I just hope the Wii U goes out gracefully from here on. I'm gonna continue buying software for the Wii because I like the system. It's good. It's good hardware, but probably as soon as the NX is out, the Wii U is gonna be dropped, like how Microsoft dropped the original Xbox. That's probably what's gonna happen. The online stuff will probably go out a couple years after the NX is released, but other than that, they're not gonna support it. NX is probably gonna be based on x86 architecture, like PS4 and Xbox One. So it's not going to be backwards compatible. I mean, you can't really emulate PowerPC on a x86. It's just not. It's possible, but it's really difficult. It has to be a really slow PowerPC to emulate on an Intel, which is why it's really hard to get classic Mac OS games to run on OS X. But anyway, I've rambled on for almost 20 minutes about this, and the gist of it is the Wii U is done. It's gone. It's flopped. It's flopped hard, and it's all Nintendo's fault. It just speaks to the management of the company. They need to be they just need to be shuffled around quite a bit. Nintendo needs to be restructured quite a bit. Maybe shift things to Nintendo of America. Well, that's probably not a good idea. Reggie screwed stuff up on the Wii as well, so it just needs to be completely shuffled around. They're just men in suits, but some of them don't know what the hell they're doing. Okay, I'm gonna end this before I keep on ranting.